everybody is so quiet and anticipatory. So hello, I'm Patricia Olson. I'm director of the Women's Art Institute and one of the co-instructors here. What you see in the two galleries here is the culmination of 16 students of this past cohort of the Women's Art Institute Summer Studio Intensive. This work was done in 4 weeks, and this is not it's not all of it. There's stuff we didn't put in the show. So it's a really remarkable presentation of work, kind of working from questions that the students themselves bring into the Institute, and then kind of letting those questions kind of percolate into their work and their art lives. So there are going to be 5 people tonight presenting their work. They're all kind of they kind of stepped forward and said, we would like to do this. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. If you have questions, I'm sure that they are going to be open to answering any of your questions, either about their work or about the Institute. And of course you can ask me too, because, before I let you go, though, I do also want to say that this is the 20th year of the Women's Art Institute. It is a remarkable achievement for a program like this, an academic program like this, to last 20 years. We started at Minneapolis College of Art and Design with Elizabeth Erickson as the founder, and then when she retired from MCAD in 2012, we had the opportunity to move it here to St. Catherine's, and of course it fits St. Catherine's mission so well, and we've flourished ever since. So after the show comes down, which is Saturday, there will be a break for the gallery. I don't know how much of a break the gallery people actually are going to get, but then in the fall we are going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary with a juried show from over 300 alumni of the Women's Art Institute. The show is from that group. There's 60 artists in the show. So that will be here at the Katherine G. Murphy Gallery with a concurrent show at MCAD of 12 of the visiting artists, both regional and national, that we've brought in over the years. There will be also Feminist Art History Night, 35,000 years of feminist art in 2 hours. Wow. That will be at MCAD. Beverly McKeever, who was our visiting artist in 2008, a wonderful figurative painter, African-American artist out of, I'm pretty sure she's located in Durham, North Carolina now. You won't want to miss her artist talk. She is really one of the best painters in the United States today. She will also be at MCAD. And then we're going to have an evening here called What's Your Question? Where people can bring in their questions. We'll put them in a bowl. We'll have a group of Women's Art Institute alumni pull the questions out of the bowl and give them your answers. So welcome tonight, and I'm going to turn this over to Gwen Partin, whose work is in here, and she will tell you all about it.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
I'm just putting a little timer on here so I can glance down and see how long I'm taking. Okay, I wrote all this out. I'm not going to read it because I realized that'll make me more nervous. And I won't be looking at you. Anyway, this is my work here and on the pedestal. And I came to the Women's Art Institute with some ideas, pre-brewed ideas. I came with these blank accordion folded papers, and I came with some printmaking plates I wanted to print from. But I also didn't do exactly what I came to do because things change as I move forward. Anyway, I'm a printmaker, and I was happy there was a press I could use. I work in monotype and collograph and stencil printing and some other things. And then they're printed and then collaged and sewn together. And I can talk about the technique a little bit. Monotype is a painterly method where you paint on I use a plexiglass like this. This is a lot smaller than I used. My plate was quite big. It was big enough to hold a double sheet. And I can roll ink on the plate with a brayer. I can pull it away with a rag or a Q-tip. I can brush it with a paintbrush. You can see some of those techniques right here. And then I can also use textures and stencils with the monotype to kind of bring it back and forth. And then all that is, the ink's on here, and the paper goes on top. And then you run it through an etching press. So it's a heavy pressure. You can't get these effects by printing by hand. Anyway, and then the other technique I use is called collograph. And my plates are made from drawings that so this would be, I painted over it because the drawing was distracting me. This was a drawing. This would be the plate that was used there. And also offset to here, different ways this was used. And this is another plate. This you can see the drawing. This was used somewhere over there. And on some of the other pieces. And then I have a couple more woven, and I make these by weaving the paper, so they're actually paper woven together. So collograph is generally a technique where you collage onto a board or something, and then the texture that makes is what you print from. You add ink to it, and you can sort of rub the ink away, or you can leave the ink on the surface of the plate. There's different ways of using the collograph. And so collograph is coming in, that's more here, here. So, anyway, that's the technique. And I use some drawing, some collage, and a lot of cut paper in my technique. So, now, about some of the individual works. I think I'll talk about the books first, since that's what I first came wanting to do. And this is monotype print with cut paper, so there's no collograph on here. And so the words in here are from the 8 worldly winds of the Buddha. They're these forces within ourselves that oppose each other. They're aversions or these things we attach ourselves to, and they can cause suffering. And so, and they're opposing in that they're in pairs, and the pairs sort of cancel each other out, or you can't have one without the other. Like you can't feel pleasure unless you know pain. So that's what this book is about, is those 8 pairings, or 4 pairings of words. And I cut them out in a way that they were kind of upside down and backwards, so they kind of played off the meaning. And also while I was working it, I was doing some colored pencil on here, writing those words out over and over again, and it became like a mantra or a meditation on those words, and it really, I couldn't not pay attention or I'd lose my place. I'd write the wrong word. There's one mistake in here. I used the word pleasure twice when I wasn't supposed to, and I wonder what that means. And then this one is sort of jumping off that one. This one's about the quotes the Buddha said about those words, and I made those in the curve that's kind of like the end. So, and then they have covers, and I love. Where's Kim? The way you lit this, it's so great. Kim's our gallery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really nice.
Anyway, so that's that work, and that kind of comes off of doing a lot of work with words. Here's a drawing that I did a few days ago. I'll pass that around. That's it's words, and I do a lot of drawings like this. So that was kind of something. Well, I wanted to do a drawing that was about words, that the words weren't obliterated. Sometimes I do these drawings and the words are kind of, by the time I'm done with them, the words aren't legible, we can't read them. So the books are more about, have more meaning. And then, so I was working on all of these at the same time, and you can kind of tell there's a color scheme that's similar. And it's because I thought, well, if I have a limitation of an ink palette, that'll help me with one aspect of all those decisions you have to make as an artist. So I just kept with the same, like 6 colors basically. So these pieces are about an idea I had to combine. Originally, the idea was to combine my drawings with printmaking. Like the drawings that I made the plates from, I thought, oh, okay, I'll have the drawing next to the printed version of it. And then I got down to setting those side by side, and I realized that wasn't going to work. And I just decided, well, I'll just do it printmaking, and that decision happened here. Although a lot of the plates I made before I got here because they're very time consuming. But the other idea I had was to make basically a book of these comparing textures or things based on weaving or textiles. So they're diptychs, except that one kind of breaks from that, to kind of mimic the 2 sides of a page spread. And the way they're done is I do a lot of printing one thing off of another, so you'll see parts of one that are kind of mimicked in another one because it's all kind of done in a little dance at the press. I don't have any logic behind it, except it just at the moment it comes out. And this, just do this so that you can see. This is meant to be like that, and it would be kind of neat if it had a little movement. So I did all these, and then I had a lot of stuff left over, and I started tearing them up into squares, and I made this quilt like piece. The quilt piece is something I've had on my mind to do for a long time. I just never got to it. My mother's a quilt maker. She made her last quilt this year, and she's amazing. I'm real sad about her not being able to do that anymore. So it's sort of an homage to her. I call it Martha Love. That's my mother's name. So it's just a piecing together of all the scraps I had left over. I didn't end up using the blue paper I thought I would use in this work, or some of the other things, so they ended up here. And I learned how to make French knots here. So this is attached with French knots. And I use some of those over here too to unify the work. Yes.
So you're at your 10 minutes. I just wanted to
Yep.
ask if anybody had a question or two.
Thanks for letting me know.
Sure.
Did you say those ones are weavings, those first two you showed us? The ones that are on the bottom of those are
Some of them, yeah.
Oh.
This one is not. I just cut that out. But this one is, and this like insanity. I don't recommend trying to do
It looks like it.
How did you keep them together after you
Glue.
wove them? Okay.
That's amazing.
They're sealed with a polymer to keep the ink from.
Kind of beautiful in itself.
This is,
Yeah.
what I did was I photocopied drawings. So, and then on some of them, and then this would be an example of cutting a drawing out that would
That's
be
right.
like this.
What did you use to cut? A razor blade or?
X-Acto knife.
Very.
Can you say a little bit about your interest in the concept of weaving?
I, about a year and a half ago, I opened up a book that was Ken's book on Annie Albers, who's a weaver. And I don't know, I was just smitten. I was like, oh my God, I gotta do something with this. And it sent me off into a year-long plus drawing exercise of simulating weaving with pencils and pens, and I've got, yeah, lots of drawings of weavings from that. And from there, I decided I would try to simulate weavings in other ways with my printmaking, so that took me to making the collagraphs. I don't know, weaving is really exciting to me. Look at weavings and they're just, like, it's like sensual, there's something about it. It's different when you're working with paper, and I'm an artist that works with paper, so I'm not going to take out thread, except I did for the French knots. I felt like I'm a little wondering about that still, but yeah. Any more questions?
Was your hand hurt after cutting out all those squares?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think because I draw so much and I work with my hands so much with my art, they're exercised like a tennis player who does
Good finger fitness.
finger fitness. I don't know. They don't. What hurts more is my eyes and my shoulders from the work. I'm now starting to get arthritis in my thumb. Thankfully, it's in my left hand. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Gwen.
Thank you, everybody.